The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It bursts into flames. Get it started. It's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my. Get out of the way, please. It's bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast, and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's the spike 400 or 500 feet into the sky. It's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. It's smoke and it's flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around it. I told you, I can't even talk to people. There's friends around there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just laying there, massive smoking wreckage.
Okay, that is what you're going to witness over the next several months. Okay, we got about 4.5, 5 months left. The longest ever crash of the Hindenburg, the longest ever explosion and crash and burn of that we've ever watched. A slow motion 4.5 month Hindenburg has just begun. And there is no turning back from what happened last night. There is no remedy to fix it because it will not be fixed. This is it. And this is, in Joe Biden's own estimation, he is the only one that could defeat Donald J. Trump. And he did it before. He is very, he has a chip on his shoulder, as my friend Eric Erickson writes today in his column. And it's because of, since 2016, he's had a chip on his shoulder because this is his race. He belonged as the vice president for 8 years under former President Hussein Obama. He belonged in that office in 2016, not Hillary. He would have won. Save for Hillary getting the nod from Mr. Hussein Obama and the Democrat Party writ large. So he got it this last time, and he knows he's going to do it again. And his wife, who is not a Dr. Jill, she was, you're going to hear some audio from her. She said he did a great job last night, and it's amazing. Here it is. Actually, here she is.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie!
Yes, Joe didn't lie when he said that no soldiers have died under his watch. He literally did not kill those 13 U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan and maim 38 others. He didn't do that. That was not him. That was Trump that did that. Nobody died. And the only thing they can say today on the Democrats is, 3 of our troops in Niger died under Trump, which I'm not discounting. But how is a battle in Niger compared to Joe Biden literally withdrawing Afghanistan incompetently and leaving behind billions in equipment and killing 13 people and maiming 38 of our soldiers and killing 13 of them? When he stared at his watch when each one went by, remember that on the tarmac? As the soldiers' draped coffins were being driven, put by him, he killed them, but he didn't want to wait for them to come in and honor them. I've been at one of those and I cried. I was an honor to be invited by the family and to be right there with the family and the Patriot Guard riders on the tarmac and see that jet come in at Gwinnett Municipal Airport in Metro Atlanta. Now, I want to ask you some questions. You'll be hearing highlights, comments from the media that lied to us all these years that Joe's incredible. He does handstands and walks backwards on handstands. He runs laps around his staff on his hands backwards. You know, he's that amazing and acrobatic. Nobody can keep up with him. He's incredible. And obviously last night, none of us could keep up with him. He was that good. Trump certainly couldn't. Oh, my gosh, right? So my questions are, is Joe Biden done? I tweeted that out last night, and in the middle of the debate or earlier. You can see it on my Twitter feed. Follow me at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. Everything I'm playing tonight, you'll see on my Twitter feed. Don't miss it. How bad, is Joe Biden done? I think he is, but he ain't going anywhere as far as leaving the race. He is done, though. He's lost this race as of today. It's over. Number 2 is, how bad was he last night? Do you think there's any way he might be able to recuperate or possibly still win how bad it was? And then do you think the Democrats are going to force Joe Biden to step down? That's another big one. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. Lines wide open. I'll repeat the question. Is Joe Biden done? How bad was he last night? And do you actually think the Democrats will force him to step down? Maybe put in Mrs. Hussein Obama or Gavin Newsom or Kamala. I have a lot of stuff to share with you on that, but let me share with you also. I've got the statements, for example, the New York Times. There's about 5 columns that are just destroying him today. I'll just read you the headlines. Thomas L. Friedman, Joe Biden is a good man and a good president. He must bow out of the race. Frank Bruni, Biden cannot go on like this. Patrick Healy, I'm hearing high anxiety from Democrats over Biden's debate performance. Michelle Cottle, Russ Douthat, and Ezra Klein in the New York Times. Is Biden too old? America got its answers. Fake news CNN reporter Kayla Tausch says not only does POTUS not plan to drop out, as just reported on fake news CNN, but not only is he not planning to drop out, but Biden remains committed to a second debate in September, an advisor tells me. Now, that's another issue. I wonder if Trump should cancel the second debate. Say, you know what? It was too painful to watch for you. I'm done. The people saw my vision. I'm good. Or does he risk it and do a second one? But focus right now with me on, is Joe Biden done? I do think he's done. I think it's over. Now, he's not leaving, and he will not be removed. But he is done. His candidacy is over. He has lost this race as of today. Number 2, how bad? Now, I'm not stupid enough to think that the Democrats aren't going to have another new lawfare episode, more charges, more fake intelligence put together by our CIA that does operations on us, not on the bad guys, and many more things. But I think he was done unless some miracle Hail Mary happens, which is so unlikely at this point. And then do you think the Democrats will force Joe Biden to step down? Again, our number 800-288-WBAP. They will not. They are trying to. They want to. In fact, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, the 2 leaders in the Senate and House for the Democrats, are privately trying to now push him that way, as reported in Politico today. So they're going to try to lobby him to step down. Just about everybody will. I don't honestly think anybody in his cabinet or top advisors will, because he screams at them on normal days when they disagree with him or suggest, well, sir, are you sure you want to do that? This could happen and it could be real bad. He yells at him. He gets mad. He doesn't like that. This is a man, as I've told you for years, of tremendous hubris. I'm the one who got Trump. I'm the only one that can get Trump. Nobody else can. I'm awesome, even if I'm a little weak right now as far as the polls and stuff. I got this. Hold my beer. I don't know if you noticed, I'm quoting one of my friends in his column today, that Eric Erickson, that what's his name? Biden walked off the stage assisted by Jill Biden, not a Dr. Jill, and he looked like C-3PO. And I think that's very accurate. This man is done. And I agree that he needs to go retire and enjoy himself. But he has stuff to do. He's going to pardon Hunter, or at least commute the sentence. I think he's going to commute it. That way he can say, you know what, he's guilty of it. That's not reversible. But this man's gone through enough, and he's healing, and he's sober, and I want him to stay that way. This is the right thing to do. And also he'll end up doing some other commutations for other people. He'll look for African-American, people that are the diversity boxes that all he does is talk about that, as you know. And he'll do that too. He'll get some real over-the-top cases to say, look, I got a trans black Muslim woman over here who's in jail. I'm going to free her and Hunter. You know what I mean? He'll get a list of people that are transgender and, whatever. Every single box you can find out. He'll check it, and then he'll get them. He's going to tell them, I want the most over the top, every box checked, and I'm going to pardon them. Find me 10 of them or 20 of them so I can do that with Hunter. And look at the focus will be on how magnanimous I am. Okay, coming up next, I will be playing you highlights from the media, highlights from the debate that show how bad of a job Biden did and how much panic there is. And the media lied to us, didn't they? Didn't the media lie to us? They told us this guy's incredible. He runs backwards on his butt cheeks faster than we can. You know what I mean? He's so in shape. We can't keep up with him. They lied to us. Or was it the Democrats that lied and the media just bought it? We'll talk about that. And also next, I want to talk about, really coming up next, you'll hear some unbelievable highlights of Joe. But then I also want to ask you this. Body language expert. We have a body language expert saying what he thinks this was. We saw Joe Biden last night to me, and he actually said this, it was like a dead man walking. And I agree. That's all next. Our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We have 4 lines open on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
In my entire professional career, I've done 32 debates. Never has someone performed, and I was very upset with Donald Trump in 2020. I have never seen a performance like I saw last night. My focus group all came in undecided, all from swing states. 12 of the 14 swung to Donald Trump, only 1 to Joe Biden. We've never had that before. We are truly in uncharted territory. And what blew me away the most was that Joe Biden voters in 2020 don't want him on the ticket in 2024.
All right, that's pollster Frank Luntz this morning on CNBC's The Squawk Box. You will hear audio from the 14 panelists that he had, that he interviewed, with their commentary after the debate. It was beyond... what I've been telling my loved ones today, and my friends and my colleagues that asked about my reaction today, is I would not have written the script on this bad of a debate. I wouldn't have, because I think it is so far in our favor and so bad against Joe Biden that it's almost too, it is too bad. It was so bad that you're seeing the New York Times editorial board, the entire editorial board of the New York Times, just released this 3 hours ago. New York Times editorial board calls for Joe Biden to drop out. His candidacy is a reckless gamble. By the way, they knew this. Every one of these people knew this 3.5 years ago, and they lied to us. Actually, 4 years ago when he was running, they lied to us. They all lied to us. They are liars. They have been hiding him. They have been agreeing to hide him. They have been aiding and abetting this elder abuse. And here we are. The New York Times writing today. By the way, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And I'll share with you what a body language expert says about last night. I hint it's horrific. But the New York Times editorial board has said, quote, Biden has repeatedly and rightfully described the stakes of this November's presidential election as nothing less than the future of American democracy. Biden has said he is the candidate with the best chance of taking his this threat of tyranny and defeating it. His argument rests largely on the fact that he beat Trump in 2020. That is no longer sufficient rationale for Biden to be the nominee this year for the Democrats. They said Biden is not the man he was 4 years ago. He appeared on Thursday night as a shadow of a great public servant. As the shadow of it, he struggled to explain what he would accomplish in his second term. He struggled to respond to Trump's provocations. He struggled to hold Mr. Trump accountable for his, quote, lies and his failures and his chilling plans. More than once, he struggled to make it to the end of a sentence. Mr. Biden has been an admirable president. Under his leadership, the nation has prospered, blah, blah, blah. But the greatest public service Biden can now do is to perform is to announce he will not continue to run for re-election. And it's a reckless gamble. There are other Democrats better equipped to present clear, compelling, and energetic alternatives to a second Trump presidency. It goes on, but it's like I said, this is so much of a victory for us and so much of a failure for Joe Biden last night that it's too much almost, where now you're seeing openly calling for... I almost wish that it was a little bit better performance from Biden so that he would just get beaten and they would still keep lying about how great he is. But that's not the case. So we take it and we run with it. And I started thinking today many things along with you. And I wonder if Donald Trump should just he'll wait till September, like a month for the debates. And then if there's no need to debate again, then I would consider canceling that debate. I don't know if he should. As far as a political expert, I'm not one. But I actually thought today, you know what? He didn't debate at all in the last time with the Republican race. Now, he needs to win points with people. So I understand that. But he already debated once last night. It was so bad. I would like to get your opinion on that. Do you think Trump should wait? Now, look, depending on where the polls are in late August, mid-August, a month before the debates, he might want to debate because of the polls. They might not be as good as we think they are going to be down the road. But I would I would have that in the back of his mind. I bet you he already does. Why would I want to debate again? I kicked butt and took names. Enough. I want to hear from you right now. Is Joe Biden done? How bad was he last night? And do you think Democrats are going to force him to step down? They will not. They cannot. Between my friend Eric Erickson writing his column today and NBC News and their report, there's no way that they will get Biden out. They cannot. Legally, they cannot remove Biden. The only way is the 25th Amendment. They will never do that because it has to be Kathleen Kamala and his cabinet. And they will never go against him. It'll fail, and he'll fire those people after it fails immediately. It'll be the first time he fires somebody, and it won't be for a good reason. Trump was so much of a knock it out of the parker last night with Afghanistan and how Biden refused to fire anybody. I've got that audio. I'll play it for you in a little bit. But right now, I want you to see the body language thing as well. Again, your call, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How bad was Biden last night? Is he done? Do you think the Dems are going to try to force him to step down? I mean, the media already is writ large. They already are. No brave Democrats to come out and directly say that today. You should have heard Biden's spokesperson and the Delaware senator who used to be his intern 30 years ago, whatever, Chris Coons. So he will not do anything negative of Biden. He literally refused to answer questions from Martha McCallum that were very simple. Like, do you think it was, why do you think he forgot to mention that those 13 soldiers were killed in Afghanistan? And he wouldn't even say, you know what, he messed up. He wouldn't do that. I mean, it's still, dude, we're awesome. We're winning. Everything's fine. And attack Trump. But the world saw it last night. The world did. Can you do a quick Google search, producer Garrett? I think that I heard something about 50 million. Go ahead and take the calls first. I think like 50 million people. I heard last night that 50 million watched the debate. I heard that today from that presidential David Brinkley, the presidential historian. And he hates Trump and he loves his Democrats. I'm sure he is a liberal Democrat. He said it was an historically bad, the worst ever debate he's ever seen a presidential candidate do or a president do. And that was hard for him to say that. So here's the body language, by the way. Oh, and by the way, on Frank Luntz's independent voters last night, he got 14 of them from across the country. He's a pollster. And 14 from all the country on a Zoom session. And he talked to their comments at each break. And basically at the end, he said out of all the 14 people that were uncommitted, didn't know, 13 of them went from uncommitted to Trump by the end of the debate. And one went to Biden. And you'll hear more of what he said, not only what you just heard at the beginning of the segment there, but you'll hear more coming up next as well from his panelists. I couldn't have written it this badly for Biden, and I actually think it was a little too bad for him for my comfort because they're going to try to get rid of him, but they can't. They cannot legally do it. Body language. He was dead man walking. Literally is what the body language experts said. All right, let's take Nick and Cumby's call. Nick, thanks for listening to WBAP.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that the Democrats can't force him out, not only because legally, but because they've been screaming about how they were going to save democracy by beating Trump. If they were to force Joe Biden out, that would completely throw out the entire democratic process that they went through to elect him under their primaries and caucuses.
And
so that would only,
if I may add to that, or if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
99% of the delegates voted for Joe Biden. Those are his delegates. And they're not going to go backwards on it. They will not. There's 700 superdelegates that could trump everything, but they can't even do anything unless the delegates come in and change. Legally, they can't do it, and they won't. Go ahead, sir, with your next point. Apologize.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that would give Trump so much ammo to be able to say, hey, you're trying to say that you're going to save democracy, but you dropped out. So now how are you saving democracy?
You literally are brilliant.
Disregarded.
You are so brilliant, because that was part of the article I was reading from NBC News that did this story. You're going to undermine democracy by going against what 99% of every Democrat voted for, Joe Biden? You're destroying the democracy right there. You're taking away the vote of 99% of every Democrat that put Joe Biden nominated him again. That's not democracy. That's anti-democratic. It's amazing.
Exactly.
You made a great connection, brother. Thanks for weaving together a point I was going to make eventually that you said so wonderfully. Thanks for your call.
All right, thank you.
Oh, okay, listen to this. You want a shocker? This is amazing. Thank you, Garrett. Another reason why Garrett, too, is such an amazing producer. That 51, because presidential historian Douglas Brinkley, who hates Trump, said today it was 50 million people. Producer Garrett said, indeed, it was 51 million people watched last night. I didn't tell you, I think, but I told my wife, I said, you're going to have at least 30 million people that watched it, which is unprecedented. No, 51 million people. You cannot hide the long Hindenburg, the 90-minute Hindenburg, and by the way, it hasn't crashed yet. It's on fire, but it's slowly going down to the ground for the next 3.5 months, 4 months, and before it fully gently touches down in a frame of steel and flames, like it did. That's why I started the show by playing that coverage from the radio where we go, oh, the humanity, oh, the humanity. We're watching that for 4 months. That's what's 4.5 months, whatever it is. We're watching that now. And it's not going to go down. This guy Joe Biden will not. He will be publicly doing some crazy, bad stuff if they try to take him out. He will be saying and doing things. You want to see this crazed and elderly, mentally infirm man. Even worse, like on those moments when he freaks out and snaps because he has dementia or early onset dementia and Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or both or all three of them. You will see that flash of anger that you see him when he gets really like holy crap, like the 4-second snap on the way out of a press conference, etc. He will do that for 30 minutes or 20 minutes in a speech, and he's going to look so incredibly horrible. That it will be dark, like he claims Trump is dark and evil kind of a thing. Not evil, but you know what I'm saying. It'll be real bad. You see some real dark brand, and then this guy's an epic failure. And here's the thing I wanted to say on this. Sorry, I'm late. I'm flowing. This is Biden's own fault. This is Joe Biden's own fault. His downfall that I've been telling you about for 4 years is his hubris. He is so incredible. I've told you this on the air. I said it on James Parker's show yesterday afternoon. He is like Eddie Eagle, the blue eagle from the Muppets, the whatever he was. And he's with his stare, how I'm so incredible and confident, looking out of the Oval Office. Picture Eddie Eagle. That's Joe. And he did it. He saved the world and America, and now he's going to do it again. And he will not go anywhere. But so he did this to himself. He bumped up the debate to yesterday because he knew he would kick butt and take names, and he knew it would clear the air about his performance. Just like he was the one that called the press conference to yell and attack Robert Hur late in the afternoon when he looked horrific. Remember that? When he's like, I'm not elderly and infirmed. How dare you say I don't know when my son died? Remember all that? And that's when Robert Hur, the special prosecutor, said he is an elderly man with a poor memory, and yes, he committed those felonies of stealing classified documents and withholding them, but a jury would not convict him because he's an elderly man with a poor memory. And that's what we saw last night, and that's who he is now. And he did the press conference to himself. He did the debate last night early to himself, and he also put together a virtual he put together a virtual Democrat convention so that he could be nominated early by his own desire. There's an early nomination process. He will not be nominated and officially put into office again in August 13th. That's not what's happening with the DNC nomination. It's several weeks earlier, at least. I'll get the date for you, but it's way earlier because he bumped that up too. This man has done everything to destroy himself with his hubris. It's beautiful to watch. It's unbelievable. All right, up next, I'll give you the body language experts' take, a brutal take on Biden's debate against Trump, like a dead man walking, plus your call coming up next. How bad was Joe Biden last night? Is he done? Do you think the Dems are going to force him to step down and replace him with somebody? All that next on the Chris Crock Show. 800-288-WBAP. 4 lines open. 800-288-9227.
He does not have the leadership qualities to survive for the next 4 years. I don't even know how he's going to survive the next few months. They need a candidate that can beat Trump.
Well, back then, he was an unknown to me, really, at the time, and I had seen what Trump had done. And now that I've seen him in action or inaction, I just think if the Democrats want to have a chance at putting someone in the White House, they need to put someone else up.
I'm not sure how he functions like during an 8-hour workday, let alone an 8-hour workday or 8+ hour workday as president of the United States.
Can you believe that? Those are independents in the panelists of 14 people that Frank Lunster, the pollster, that ran the 14 analysts together as they all watched on Zoom, that he was getting the reactions in real time. When the whole debate was over, the 14 were undecided before the debate. 13 made the decision for Trump. After the debate, 1 made a decision for Biden. I don't know if that person is also frail, elderly, and infirm too. He didn't notice that. Like, oh, wait, he did great. Come on, Ethel, like they're in a nursing home. Ethel, did you see this guy? Hey, helper, can you come over here? The internet is not working. It's stopped. You know, Ethel, look at this. He's kicking butt and taking names. I can't believe it. Myrtle, check this out. You know, whatever. Okay, body language expert said his brutal take on Biden's debate against Trump, like a dead man walking, quote unquote. He says this. I was really concerned because the minute Biden walked out on that stage, I felt like he was not feeling good. His skin was pale. It was pasty. He literally looked like a dead man walking. It was as if everything were in slow motion. His fingers and his lack of illustrators were, when he was talking, he was like a frozen statue up there on stage. It really was painful to watch. He didn't make a lot of facial gestures as we normally see him do. He didn't flash his great big smile at anybody. He was very serious when he walked on the stage. And he really didn't change at all through the entire debate. It made Biden look exceptionally weak and Trump exceptionally powerful. By the way, Biden's White House tweeted out in the middle of the debate last night that he has a cold. Well, then why did he go to a rally last night and with Not a Dr. Jill in Atlanta immediately after and yell and go nuts with his teleprompter? And then why today did he go to a rally in South Carolina? Is he trying to kill everybody if he's got a sickness or to make him sick? He didn't sound like he was sick today. I'll play that for you coming up next. They said when he failed his recollect lines, it tripped him up, resulting in him giving long stares, oftentimes without blinking, which he described as a stalker stare. And the minute he forgot a couple words, it was all over with right. And then you could see that drop mouth, and it was a dumbfounded look. His eyes would become very open, almost zombie-like. So he had that very flat stare in his eyes. He was really way too Botoxed out. That's a real problem. It can create cognitive issues because when you shut down those emotions through facial effects, it can affect your brain. It really almost felt abusive, in my opinion, to literally allow him to go through that kind of pressure, knowing he is in his cognitive decline. Was to me, this is almost abusive, this high cognitive decline. Sad to watch. My heart broke. I literally could have cried watching him up there forcing his words out the best he could. Just super hard to watch. The emotion, I felt sympathy, empathy, because he just truly looked pathetic. Anyways, wow. Okay. We're going to get to the next hour coming up. We have on the debate. I have so many more highlights I'm going to play with you. The meltdown of the liberal media after this, and more speech highlights. My question, continuing on throughout the night, is Joe Biden done? How bad was he? Will they replace him? I want to also pivot to, do you feel like the media lied to us about Biden's condition? Were they fooled by Democrats, or did they lie to us all along knowing he was this bad? 800-288-WBAP. That's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.